Do you have some Derwent Inktense pencils lying around and you're not quite sure how to use them or how to get the best out of yours? Maybe you've also got the Derwent Inktense paint pan travel set, but you're stuck where to begin. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can combine both together, from a loose underpainting to layering and reactivating those bold pencil colours. I'll show you all the materials that I use and share a simple beginner-friendly idea that you can try right now in your surroundings. Stay with me to the end for my bonus technique. It's a playful twist that really brings your artwork to life with zero effort. Life's too short to carry around a bottle of marine fluid.
Bring me back to that day. I had all
So keep looking at the reference. It can be really effective, I find. We've got the shadow underneath.
It kills to be halfway alive since I had you and one till I see you again.
I'm just going to show you what I'm going to be using today. So this is my Derwent Inktense 24 pencil set. If you haven't got this and you've got other Inktense, I'm sure that would be absolutely fine. I like this one because it has a really nice range of colours that I will quickly show you. You've got some nice browns in there. There's the charcoal grey, which is great. There's the Shiraz, which I find quite useful. And it does come with an outliner or an outliner pencil. No idea what's happened to that. I should actually just put another pencil in. But yeah, you've got some nice greens. The leaf green is great. And yeah, it's just a nice set to get. It's not too big. It's quite manageable. The 12 set is great. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the charcoal grey or the Shiraz in it, which I do find quite useful. So if I was going to buy one, I would probably go for this size. They also do, there is a 36 set and also a 74, and which is, I have actually got the 74, plus a 100 set as well, if you're really intent on buying everything. So this is yeah, a nice set to use. So we'll be using that. I've also got my Derwent water brush, and I believe this one is, I think this is a small one, not the medium. I do like these ones because they've got this little push bit just to release a bit of water when you're ready to use or activate your pencils, and then you don't have the inconvenience of having to take around some water and a little water pot. I have my Derwent spray, which is really useful. I'll be using this just to activate the paint pan set that I've got, just to wet it, but you could use it on the paper as well if you wanted for some effects, and yeah, I find that really good. My usual KUM pencil sharpener, which gives you that really long point, which is a bit silly because these do break, they are quite brittle. I just like that point, so there you go. And paper towel, just to wipe my brush on, but you could use a wristband. And somebody did leave a comment last time, which was a brilliant idea of using old socks. I think she said she used her husband's socks, which was fantastic. And yeah, you could just cut the sock bit off and just use the elasticated bit. And yeah, when you use the wristband, it's the same type of thing. You just wipe it, and they're really convenient. I've got two clips for my sketchbook, and then I'm going to show you the sketchbook itself, which is a Beta Series Stillman and Burn sketchbook. It's a lovely paper. I've used the bigger one, but I've never used this little one, so I'll be using that today, and we'll see how it goes. And obviously the last thing is the actual Derwent travel paint pan set, Inktense paint pan travel set, I should say. And those are all those gorgeous colours. It has a little sponge with it and a little travel brush, so you've got backup there. I will as well link everything in the description, so just have a look down below and everything will be linked down there. So let's get on with it. Well, I've got these lovely geraniums in the garden. They've yet to produce any flowers, and I'm hoping that the slugs don't get to them first. So while we've got them, I've taken a picture actually, just because it's a bit easier balancing all this stuff on the table. And I'm going to, first of all, and just block in a really loose, watery leaf, the shape of the leaf, using the Inktense. So to start with, we need to make a nice green up. So the photo is in front of me on a tablet, but obviously you could just use a real leaf from your garden. Now you don't have to use something from your garden. You might not have a garden. You could use something from the park. You could use a pot plant. And I'm going to mix up a nice green to begin with. And these are very bright, these colours. And the great thing about Inktense is it doesn't budge once you put down your layers. So we'll start with a fairly yellow layer, and then I'm going to add a layer on top of that. So here I'm just putting down a nice watery shape that's geranium shaped. Now you don't have to be precious about this. You're just putting down a shape, and it's not going to be super realistic. We're not entering it for a massive competition or selling it for hundreds of pounds. It's just a study and you're just having fun. So the great thing about the water brush is you can keep squeezing the little button on it and releasing water. So if it's not watery enough, you're finding it a little bit too intense with the old Inktense, then yeah, just press the button and it will release a bit more. Thanks so much for watching the video so far. If you're enjoying it, please give it a like, maybe leave a comment, or even share it with a friend who loves art too. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It means a lot. Thank you. The other thing that you can do if you want to lift out some areas before it dries is just dry your brush on your paper towel and then just drag it through areas that you prefer didn't have quite as much colour down. Now it's a really sunny day today, so I'm expecting that this is going to dry fairly quickly, and it's reacting really well on this paper. What I'm also going to do now is just make up a darker tone, and we're going to use this green here. I'm just going to pop a bit of red in, which I think this is the burnt umber in there, and just mix in a bit of a lighter colour because I haven't got quite what I want. That would do. And while it's still a little bit wet, I'm just going to see if I can just add a little bit of definition or some shadows. So keep looking at your reference, keep deciding if you need to add any detail to it. I think these look actually better, the less fiddling that you do with them, but we are going to draw into them. We'll keep going, doing a bit of that. Now let's do a different one. on this other side of the page we'll do some petunias because they're nice bright colours. Now this travel set, excuse all the creaking, I'm sat in a really creaky outside chair. Yeah, this travel set doesn't really have a pink in it or a magenta. It does have purple in it, but it's a bit dark, so that's not going to be any good at the minute. So what I'm going to do is a little trick. If you've got the fuchsia colour, which you will have, I think most of the sets that Derwent do have got the fuchsia in. I think even the blister pack has. What you could do is just use your, yeah, this is the fuchsia, which is quite like the Petunia that I'm going to try and paint. And I'm just going to wet the, I don't think that's on camera, is it? I'm just going to wet that, and we'll use that, oops, we'll use that here. And that's a much better colour for what we need. Let's get a bit more. Okay, right. So this Petunia has got on it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm not a botanical expert by any means, so we're going to draw 5 petals. I'm going to do another flower there. And again, we're going to make it nice and watery. So I'm just pressing down on that button. We've got to get our 5 petals in. So many green fly. Get yourselves outside and do a bit of painting or drawing. It's so much fun and it's so relaxing, especially if you're listening to a podcast or a bit of music or a storybook or something like that. It's just a lovely way to relax and spend some time. Okay, so we've got our 5 points in there. Now I'm going to let that dry before we go on. The next one I'm going to go about it a bit of a different way. Yeah, I've got this photo in front of me now. It's a lot more vibrant, this one. It has a slightly undertone from what I can see. Like I said, the sunlight is beaming down on me at the minute. It's got a slightly pink undertone to it, but it's predominantly the purple. And I would say it was closest to either the, oh no, not that one, that's bright blue. I think the violets, right. So what I'm going to do is, the outside of it is actually a lot darker than the inside bit.
I just wanna go out on a walk with you. Baby, you know I just like to talk with you. You don't have to tell me anything that's new. I just wanna go out on a walk with you. I just wanna see your shadow next to mine, sailing over pavement with our 2 outlines. I like to see the shape you're in from time to time. I just wanna see your shadow next to mine.
Okay, so that's our first layer. Well, the thing I love about the geraniums is the lovely red marks that they have on the middle of the leaves. So what we're going to do next is add those in with, we'll start with the Shiraz pencil and see how we go. Right, so what I'm going to do is just add in, I think, lots of dots. Now, the line waves up and down. It's not straight. And I'm just making lots of little circular motion with, or circular shape with the pencil, I should say. It's so hard to art and talk.
Open air, this way there in all the colors. Summer
Just get a bit more
white. Lonesome dove folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer love. Remember when we were getting nowhere fast.
I'm just making it up really. I'm trying to look at the picture, but it's still really difficult to see in this light. If I wasn't filming, I'd probably be working in the shade or somewhere else anyway, but there's not many areas in this garden that's easy to film and draw from. You've got the looseness of doing that first wash, and then you've got this layer where you can be a bit more intricate and just go for it with a pattern. And I'm also just going to, in certain areas, just shade a few bits. And if I'm not happy with the shape as well, I can just change it a little bit with the pencil just to get it more to how I want it. So of course this is just one of the ways that you can use these two together. They work really well in landscape art. If you go out and use them, you can use them quite differently. But when you come to using them for objects or still lifes, this is one way that you could use them. So my plan is that I'm going to actually do a video as well, just showing the techniques, all the different techniques that you can use with these pencils as well. So keep an eye out for that one. And it actually goes like that, doesn't it? Right, I think we'll call it a day at that. So that's adding the pencil layer. So we've got 2 petunias and the 2 geranium leaves. Well, now the exciting bit. So we're going to activate the pencil that we've put down and see what we get. So we'll start with the geranium leaf. The sun's gone in a bit, so I can actually see a little bit more. What you can do with it when you activate it is actually move it around a little bit. So I'm just going to get the leaf up that I'm working from. And so I'm just lifting it and then dropping it in splodges up and down here. And you can just see it's a really rich, lovely, almost inky colour. Just wonderful. And because the ink underneath, or the Inktense wash underneath, dries fairly permanent, it doesn't move, so it gives you like a glazing effect. So that's the first one, and we'll go on to the second one. to do is keep cleaning your brush when you go into lighter areas, just so that they don't mix into the darker areas if you've not activated the pencil, because otherwise you might get a nasty combination that you weren't planning on. And it's just great to see all that colour just explode when you put your water brush on top of it, and hopefully it's something that you want. So I'm just going round and round towards the centre, never from side to side, but towards the centre to give it a look of being rounded. Like I said, once that's dry, it won't budge, so you're not going to end up with a muddy brown colour or anything like that. What you could add now is a glaze on top of it if you wanted to brighten areas. I'm just going to show you that. It's a nice little tip. Because it won't budge, then it's not going to go all brown or horrible. So that might be a bit too intense, but I'll just show you what I mean. And it can be really effective, I find, just adding a glaze sometimes on certain areas. Just be careful that any areas that you've not activated that have pencil on, they will suddenly activate, like just here. So just be a bit careful. Right, so I've just gone back in on this one, on the geranium leaf, with back in with the pencil again, and all I've done is just add a bit of dark areas around the corner of the leaves, and a little bit of red around there, and a bit more where the red pattern is on the leaf. And then I've just added a stalk as well, and I did that with the pencil and just activated it with the water. So I've not done this one, so I'll do a bit of this one with you and just show you exactly what I've done. Okay, and on this one, we've got the shadow underneath. So I'm just going to, with my pencil, just draw that area there. And then just put this little bit in shadow to make it a little bit more realistic. Why not? And we'll just add some details, like I said. The nice thing about using the pencil is obviously that you can just get this bit of detail in. And that's all it is, you're just drawing it in. And you can take this as far as you want. Like I said, you could keep going back in and do another layer of the Inktense water palette, or you could just do it all in pencil. It's up to you. But, I mean, it is a sketch. I'm not trying to make a masterpiece here. It's far from that. But I just wanted to show you a few ideas. And like I said, you could use any plant that you can find. It could even be a bush. It could be anything really. And just take one leaf, one petal, or one flower head, I should say, really. Don't forget to add areas of shadow, because they always do make things look a little bit more realistic. And the good thing about the pencil is you can fudge it a little bit and just add some detail if you don't think it's coming across very well. You can go back in with your pencil, is what I'm trying to say, if you understand me. Like I said, I can't art and talk at the same time, but I'm getting better at it, hopefully. All I'm doing is just going around these edges and just adding a little bit of shadow, just where it goes up and down. They're like little hills on the edges of these petals of the Petunia. And this one is a really lovely electric purple almost. I don't think I've got the colour quite right on this one, but I think it still looks a bit like a Petunia. Let me know what you think. Anyway, yeah, just keep going around those edges, and what I'll do now is I'm just going to change to the fuchsia, which is here, this one, and just add, again, I'm just adding shading in really. So, Like I said before, you could activate this layer with your water brush or your brush, just activate it like we did on the original layer, or you can just keep it as it is, add a bit of shading. So it's entirely up to you and how you are feeling. So I'm trying to just reinforce that lovely colour, because it is a really lovely colour. I'm quite tempted actually just to activate it a bit more, but I'm just adding those little peaks and those troughs, just trying to get some shadow in. Go in with this bit in the middle, and I think I'm going to use a different colour. I think I'm going to use the bark for this one, which is like a really deep brown. Now I do need a much sharper point than the one I've got, because I can't use that. Okay, so I think I was saying before, that is the type of point that I like to use. Not always the best thing for your pencils, but then you can get all these lovely areas of detail. Don't know why I'm drawing on this one, because that's not the one I'm working on. Now actually, when I'll just show you why this is still damp, that is a lovely way to use these, is to, don't know if the camera will pick that up, but to actually draw into the page while it's still damp, and it gives you a really intense dark line. Well, we are working on this one. What am I saying? I don't know. Where is my head? I think that's a famous Pixies lyric. Anyway, now I'm just rambling on. What I'm going to do in here is just draw in here some shadow. And then, yeah, it's got all these lovely lines. So we'll get those in. Shadow under these.
It kills to be halfway alive since I had you and one till I
think that's nearly as far as we're going to go. I think you've got the gist of what you can do with them. You could keep obviously working into these for ages, but yeah, these are just superb for using with this type of thing, because the colours are so vibrant, and yeah, this time of year there's many different flowers that you could have a go at doing in your garden. Get yourself out there, have a go, let me know if you do, because I'd love to see what you create. One last thing, the white, the Chinese white, I mean, it's okay, and it's all right if you just want to soften areas and make them a little bit more pink, like I do on this one here. I'll just show you. However, if you do want any highlights and you've not saved them, because life's too short to carry around a bottle of masking fluid, and I've never really got on amazingly well with masking fluid. I mean, you can see it having some effect. However, if you do want some highlights, then I would suggest using something like this, which is a jelly roll, and that would be perfect. So we'll have a go. I'll just put a few in to show you, and they would work really well, especially on your dark areas, and it's just so much easier, especially if you're sketching. You don't want to be worried about masking fluid and the like, and you can see that shows up. I just wondered if there was anywhere that we could try it on the geranium. Let's have a look. Let's go back to this big one here. So I'm just distributing a little bit more on the leaf and on the edge. Let's put a bit on here, see how that works out. Don't go wild with your highlights, because just a little bit here and there can work wonders sometimes. I think we'll just put a little bit around there. Of course, if you do add too much to your highlights, or you just go a little bit overboard, then you can always go over again with either the paint or the pencil and soften it, which is what I used to do quite often in some of my professional work. It got me out of a few scrapes here and there. A drop of white used to be quite often. I'd use the Neo, actually, that was a good one as well. And I'll just show you that little technique in case I didn't catch that on camera earlier, which I don't think I will have done, but you can just draw in your stem like so, and then just feather it out with a water brush like that, and work into it to your heart's content. So I'm going to leave it there today. What do you think? Are you going to give it a go? I do hope you are. So I'll just show those to you a bit clearer. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this gave you some ideas of how to combine your Derwent Inktense pencils with your Derwent Inktense paint pan travel set, or just gave you the confidence to start playing. Let me know in the comments if you're going to give it a go, and I'd be really interested to hear what it is that you draw. Hit subscribe if you want more creative, relaxed ways to make art at home. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.